Dude, I'm really excited to have you on the show, man. I feel like we've been talking about this since the beginning
I'm so pumped.
the semester. So this is...
you guys are in what class together?
So I help instruct the EMT program.
Okay.
And he's a student. And we just kind of hit it off from day one, start talking, and then... he wanted to be on the show, and I wanted him on Well, the thing is, like, really, I've always wanted... I want a Mormon, I guess, a return missionary.
We've had some.
Well, yeah, but a return missionary specifically for the show. Because I'm always so interested. So here's the best thing about return missionaries. First of all, just so you know, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you're LDS. Like, I love Mormon people. I've said it before. But,
where did you go? Let's
that's what I'm saying. We'll get to the to the nitty gritty. But I want to say that, like, real quick. I think that every good missionary has like a really interesting poop story. It's amazing, dude.
A poop story?
Yeah.
Like about poop.
Yeah, about like somewhere they had to poop or they just couldn't hold it anymore, and they just because you
just depends on where they were.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
South American countries, I like return missionaries come back from like South America. They've got some crazy poop stories, dude. I was like, couldn't believe it. Like they just couldn't hold it anymore, so they just kind of poop wherever. Mm-hmm. But did you have anything like that,
dude? I don't know, cause like when you just grow up, I feel like you're so like set on your poop spot, you know? Like, I would not poop at school, man. I'm like anti-school pooping. I'm like, I don't know, when you're in there, people are like, someone's like having a concert in the stall next door or something like that. So I was always like, I'm only pooping in my toilet.
Right.
But you go, like I went to Washington, Southern Washington.
Oh, okay.
So I was like 5 minutes away from Portland. I could see Portland from all of my apartments for the most part.
So in Vancouver?
Mm-hmm, I was in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, Mill Plains Avenue. Okay, Mill Plains. Yep. Yeah, okay, we talked about this. All right.
Mm-hmm. So I served just at a suburb outside of Vancouver. It's called Camas. I served there for about 6 months. And then I served in a place called Washougal for 6 months.
I know both those places, yeah.
They're so pretty,
They are very gorgeous. Did you get to Multnomah Falls and all that area?
I actually never went to Multnomah Falls. I wanted to so bad. It's on my bucket list still.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We were so busy the whole time. I never actually
spreading the word, man. You don't got time for all that stuff. Don't you guys like have a day off though? Do missionaries get like a day where you guys get to hang out for a day?
Yeah. So they call it preparation day or P day or whatever. And that's the day where you get all like it's like the Saturday. You do like the chores and the laundry.
Oh, so it's not like a day to do stuff.
But we play basketball. Like I would play some fives basketball. We go to like a park and play with some guys or whatever. Like it was the day we had from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. where we didn't have to really do anything. It was kind of left up to us. Like, okay, you have to, like, if you're going to do laundry, it's this day. If you're going to get all of your shopping done, it's this day. But for the most part, like, you can do whatever you want. Like, I would call my family. That was the day you could call your family.
Yeah.
So I would call my mom, and I would call my siblings and just kind of catch up and see what's going on. Play some basketball, play some Frisbee. It was the best. That was a good day.
How long were you in Washington?
I was there for 2 years.
You didn't go anywhere else? Wherever you get assigned to, is that the only thing that alternates potentially would be your partner, right? Mm-hmm. Do they alternate sometimes?
Yeah, so they call him a companion.
Yeah, companion.
I had like 17 companions.
Good Lord.
They just kept mixing people out. God must have been super annoying, man.
Like, I don't want to be with this guy.
Get me out of here, man. I cannot.
He refuses to poop anywhere but his house.
He only poops in the apartment, man. It is rough.
It's really stinking up the place.
So 17 different companions.
Yeah.
How often do companions like stay close? Like, do you guys... Any of the 17, are you close with any of them?
Yeah, I'm really good friends with a lot of them. A lot of them I'm still super tight with. There's like, I'm going to be in the lineup, the groomsmen at one of my friend's wedding and
nice.
And one of my companions' weddings in like a month or so.
Where's that at?
It'll be, he lives in Salt Lake.
Oh, beautiful.
So pretty, yeah.
Yeah, pretty area.
And so I'm driving up, or I'll probably fly up there and then just do that. But of the 17 companions, I pretty much keep in contact with everyone within like, I probably reached out to every single one since I've been off my mission.
How long is that? And before, Gavin is your name.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, this is Gavin. It just occurred to me that we're just
Gavin,
talking.
Hey.
What's your last name?
Bryce.
Bryce. Very local last name.
Yes.
So you're born and raised. Yeah.
What? How old are you?
I'm 21.
And when did you get back from your mission?
I was 20.
So last year? You just got home last year?
I just got home in August. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been home for
Wait, so you just got home and then went straight to the EMT program?
Went straight there, yeah. Dude, I got home, so I got off my mission, it was like August 16th or something. I started school on like the 21st, man. I was like, I'm freaking so tired of this.
Active Mormons are the craziest fucking people in the world. And like, you guys just don't ever stop. It's like unreal. It's like it's a work ethic that's like it's unlike anything I've ever seen before in my life.
I think that might hit like around 30. Right now, I'm still like, gosh,
fucking try.
I need a break, man.
You're 21, dude.
Bro.
Shit. So what happens? Can you walk me through this? Like, so when you decide, all right, because not every Mormon goes on a mission, right?
Yeah.
So like, you decide. At what age do you decide that you're gonna? Is it just like,
so
for you? What age was it that you realized I'm gonna do this?
I don't know. I would always see the missionaries like around town, and I was like, I want to do that. Like, I always just had like a pull to it since I was like 5. Like, I always.
Wow, really?
My dad went and served a mission.
Where did he serve at?
He served in Halifax, Canada. So it's like Eastern Canada.
Yeah.
One of his areas was in Maine, so he kind of bounced around that portion up there, and whatever that is, the northeast.
Yeah. Did he speak? Did he learn French?
He picked up some French. I don't think he ever fully mastered it or fully was fluent, but I mean, people up there speak French, and so he caught on to the slang and the swear words.
Whatnot. All right. Wow. So you're at around 5, you would say?
So
Like,
at 5, I was like, I would like to do that. And then at church, they're always like, if you want to like have a spiritual experience, if you want to grow and learn, they really encourage you to serve a mission. And so I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. I'm really about that.
You're on board.
And so when I was like 16, I had like, I think it was one of my first experience where I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to go serve. I want to go help people. I want to teach them about Jesus Christ, because that was my first moment where I was like, I know that he lives, man. Like, I know that he's there, and he like changed my life, so I wanted to share that with everyone. So I made the decision at like 16.
Right.
And then when I was 18, do you want me to walk through like the process of?
Yeah, because I've always been curious. Like, Mormons are so like fucking nonchalant about this crazy experience that happens to them, right?
Yeah.
Like, where this is how I see like friends and family or people I know have served. Mm-hmm. Like, usually get like the secret letter in the mail, like, oh, I'm going to wherever, and I'm going to learn this language and completely dive into this fucking culture and ride a bike around and talk to strangers all day long at fucking 18 years old.
Right.
It's mind-blowing.
And wear the same freaking outfit every day.
Every day. Dude, it's crazy. So anyhow, where were you? So how did you find, was it email? Oh, go on. So you can tell me.
So yeah. So the church is pretty thorough about like getting all your information to make sure that you're like eligible to actually go. Like,
what makes somebody ineligible?
If they were really, really struggling with their mental health, like really, really bad,
yeah,
you're not gonna want to go and be away from your family for that long.
Do they have like a process that they run you through?
Yeah, it's like, hey, have you struggled with anxiety or depression? You can say yes or no. And it's like, is it something that you think will bother you? And you can say yes or no. I put no, like I'm fine. But I think that, I mean, other things, like if they make you take what's the one test where you like get a chest X-ray?
A cat's no.
No, it's like for a disease.
I'm just I know that this is
chest X-ray.
Yeah. Anyways, so if you've got some kind of disease that's gonna go like wipe out the entire South American population,
send them.
Probably should freaking send them over there, man.
Good heavens! No. Don't let this guy drag you into saying horrible things, because he's gonna try. That's what he does.
Down, man. So they pretty much like, just as far as health wise, like if you're able to go, if you can ride a bike for 2 hours a day, if you can walk, if you are physically able to do that,
yeah,
and you want to go serve people, they'll send you out. And so got an application. They send you like an application. So I talked to the leader of a local congregation. Is called a bishop.
Is this like a palpable?
It was online,
like a Carl's Jr. job application, or like you got like, can you fill it out with paper and pen?
It looks like that, but it's online.
Oh, it's online.
So I filled it out online. What my name was, how long I've been a member, where I'm from, what I like to do, and it's a lot of paperwork. Like, you'll hear missionaries or people who are preparing to go on a mission say, I'm filling out my papers. It's a process, man.
Really?
I have my little brother's about to go on his mission, and he's filling out his papers, and he's been doing it for like 2 weeks, but he's pretty freaking lazy. So it's not like it takes 2 weeks. He's like, oh, I'll do a little bit here, and then like a week later, he's like, I still don't want to do that.
So it's nothing like a Carl's Jr. job application.
It's pretty thorough, yeah. It's real thorough.
Crazy.
They make you get like you have to get like vaccinations so that you can actually like go into another country, and so all kinds.
What was that like? COVID? Do they make you get your COVID vaccine, or do they encourage it?
I didn't get it before I left.
Okay.
Because it wasn't like a thing. Because they released the COVID-19 vaccine in January, but I was already a missionary.
Right.
And
Are you vaccinated?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Not that we don't judge around here. We don't.
That was my own personal choice.
How do you feel?
Yeah, here's my stance. Here's my cold hard stance on what it is.
It's crazy that one subject can fucking turn any normal public setting into a
into like a
Monday
warfare.
Night Raw.
WWE
Dude,
SmackDown.
Seriously, from the top ropes, dude. I can't believe people's reaction to one way or the other. Like someone's like, "I'm not vaccinated." Like, how dare you?
I can't believe you disrespectful.
You trying to kill us all?
Yeah, don't you care about your fellow humans? It's crazy to me. Yeah, but anyhow, so you weren't vaccinated when you went. So what was the Pacific Northwest, like in that area during that? Because that was around the time everything was popping off. Yeah.
So I got there in August of 2020.
Oh, right in the
thick of it. Ooh. So I got there a week after all the riots in Portland. So it was like still kind of like a war zone. People were still kind of tender, like it was. I don't know. When the election came, actually, we were prepping for another full-out riot. Another one of those where they would shut down the bridge and everyone in downtown Portland would be in downtown Portland.
Yeah, you're stuck.
You're stuck there. You can't freaking leave. And so that's what we were kind of prepping up for, but nothing had really happened. But when I got there...
were people receptive to this? Because it's, everybody's mad and wants to be mad at that point. And then could you have a moment to talk about our Savior? Or what? I don't know what you guys, I don't want you guys to spill this, but whatever it is.
Our Lord and
That's
Savior.
what you say, hey, things are rough right now.
For everybody join the church.
Now
here's the what everyone used to do for years was we were let's just go knock on doors and just do the carpet bomb method. Let's just go talk
That's what it's called, the carpet bomb?
No, that's you think about we're just gonna I don't know. You feel what I'm saying? Let's just hit everyone. Let's just talk to every single person.
Oh, you're casting out a wide net.
Yeah, big old net. Right, okay. I like the scripture reference. A big old net.
Yes.
Just like Jesus.
Just like a fisherman.
Yes.
Maybe I should have been a missionary.
Yeah, you should have been.
Right? Wasted talent, dude.
So I'd let you in my house,
dude,
man.
Right? I feel like, what happened today if I just went and knocked on someone's door with a name tag and a mustache? You guys want to talk about the Lord?
No hesitations.
People
you're getting let in.
Oh,
that's
a great way to get in people's houses.
We're going to promote our podcast.
They let us in.
But so, to bring it back to...
Go make a sandwich right away.
Just start making a sandwich.
I'm going to talk about
letting out a giant
podcast.
Fart right in their living room. So we're here to talk about our podcast.
You need to go to the bathroom? I don't go to the bathroom.
Have you found our podcast yet?
With all the noise of the world of all these other ridiculous podcasts, our podcast is the true podcast.
This is what you've been looking for.
That's right. Yes, and we could ride bikes, dude. Tricycle bikes with the basket, dude. We got to do it.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've already been a missionary for you guys' podcast. Yeah. I've been like, yo, you listen to this? This is local. It's big. It's the new thing, man. It's he's from Safford. They're from Safford.
They're from Safford. Missionaries. So how often do missionaries come to here? Is this like a hot spot, like Southern Arizona?
So there are missionaries in every country in the world where proselyting is legal. So besides the China,
right?
All those countries, you can pretty much everywhere you can send missionaries. There are missionaries. There are missionaries in Tonga, Samoa, everywhere.
So I actually created a Mormon quiz that I wrote up for you today.
Perfect.
So we're gonna you're actually LDS too, right? Yeah. So you guys are brothers and
brothers in Christ.
Brothers.
So you guys could sing a hymn if you'd like together, maybe. I don't know.
Excellent. I actually brought mine.
You brought a hymn book? Oh. All right, here we go. Which country outside of the U.S. has the most Mormons?
I think, is it Brazil?
No, it's Mexico. Mexico by 1 million more than Brazil. Brazil's number 2.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, dude, I was really shocked. 4 million. That'd be like the whole city of Houston, Texas was Mormon and Mexican.
Wow, what a world.
Yeah, okay, here's the next one. Which state has the least amount of Mormons in the U.S.?
Which state has the least amount?
Yeah, in the U.S.
New York.
Nope, South Dakota, less than 1% of the population.
Really?
But there's still 305 temples up in that mofo.
Seriously?
305 temples, dude, for less than 1% of the population. So,
jeez. I bet they're church buildings, not temples.
Maybe I got temple. That's why I assumed it was temples. But I don't know.
Well,
Maybe. Who knows?
Well, no, that's too many, right? Because you kind of
there are 5 temples in Arizona.
Okay, right. Okay.
So I bet they're church.
Yeah,
buildings.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah, there's one in every community, whether people go or
well,
not.
there's more than one in every community. Yeah, like one. I drove
they're
to
good bomb shelters, really.
Salt Lake City one time, and I was fucking floored.
There's so many.
It was ridiculous. They're like Walgreens and like
Right,
there's
right.
so many on
like
every
McDonald's.
corner.
I
there's
guess more
there's
church
more than Walgreens.
Yeah,
Probably. All right, so now I have a little game here. I'm going to rattle off some names, and I want you guys to guess whether they're LDS members or not.
Score.
It's called Guess Who's Mormon.
We're in this together. Right?
Both of you guys. The Fast and Furious is Paul Walker. Is he Mormon or not?
Yes.
What do you think, Jason?
The dude that died,
Yeah, in that fiery car crash.
I don't know.
Well, yes or no?
No.
I'm gonna go yes.
He is.
Yeah.
Dude, that's really cool.
crazy?
I thought it was cool. All right, so
May he rest in peace.
yeah, may he rest in peace. Seriously, that guy's really cool. I really, yeah. So the Notebook star Ryan Gosling.
I know that he's a member. Yeah, I think.
What do you think?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
He is Mormon.
Yeah.
Going off
Right.
of him now.
The third person.
He's just like me for real.
Yeah, you guys look a lot
Are we
like.
the same?
So when you walked around, I was like, is that Ryan Gosling? Like,
My girlfriend looks just like Rachel McAdams.
yeah, it's like, yeah, you guys are like. All right, last one. Tupac Shakur.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
he Mormon?
Definitely not.
I'm gonna go no.
No, he wasn't Mormon. Yeah, you guys got it. You guys got him all. Yeah.
No, they haven't hit that sector yet.
No.
Haven't made it all the way out there.
So that was, it was, I had to like write up a little quiz or something. I just wanted something to talk about.
Tupac
Tupac Shakur.
May he
May he rest in peace.
Yo, is he still alive though?
Yeah, he might be. There's, these crazy
Him and
TikTok
Elvis.
videos of a guy who looks a fucking whole lot like him rapping. And he's had remember Mary? He had like dreadlocks and a gold tooth. He's like, you think I'm dead? And he looked exactly like Tupac
Yo, that's
would,
wild.
aged. Have you guys been seeing these TikToks of like people that are their faces go back to like when they were teenagers? Have you been seeing these?
I've seen those before.
Women that are very heartbroken about the images of themselves as a teenager.
Yeah, they're probably really ugly.
I thought
And
it
they
was.
grew up to be beautiful women.
That happens sometimes.
It's the right. I don't know why I brought that up because I have nothing else other than like,
And that's that.
and that's
Stand
it.
it out.
So did you ride a bike?
I rode a bike maybe 2 days of my mission.
Do you get to decide like I'm going to be a bike guy or I'm going to?
Nah, dude, it is all up to chance. So funny enough, I was called to go. The whole thing is all chance. The first time, actually, I don't think it's chance. I genuinely think that's divine, like where you go.
Sure.
Because there were people that I met where I was like, there's no way I'm meeting you by chance, man. There's no way we're having this experience, and it was just left up to that could happen.
Happenstance.
Like
Right.
I don't think any of that. I think there are very few coincidences in the world
Right.
we live in, and so I think that was genuine inspiration from the people who sent me there, from the leaders of the church, and so. When I first got my mission call, it told me I was going to Auckland, New Zealand.
Oh, really? Middle Earth.
Yeah, dude.
You got screwed.
I was literally going to be there with Peter Jackson, dude.
Wow. Dude, that'd have been awesome. I got a friend in New Zealand.
I was so pumped. I was like, did all my research. I was so pumped to go. I was going to speak English. One of my areas probably would have been on the Cook Islands, which is just like out there in the middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah.
Just an island, isolated. But they got like their own animals that are only there. I don't know. It would have been crazy, but
Right.
But because of COVID, they shut it all down.
Oh, they locked
Fucking-
down their borders.
So
and
they didn't
shit.
even open the visa office to get a
Right.
visa to go in until I was home.
Wow.
So I'd imagine
Wow.
a lot of missionaries got
Shafted.
stateside.
Yep.
This whole ordeal.
But I still believe that was.
What about the Mormons that were already serving over there? Were they just landlocked until something happened?
If you look it up, there are some crazy stories because for some reason, like a week before the COVID, like the whole pandemic hit, have you ever heard of the prophet, the president of the church?
Yeah.
So
I don't know who he is right now, though.
his name is President Nelson.
Oh, yeah,
Russell
still
M.
Nelson.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so Russell M. Nelson, he wakes up and he's like, yo, we've got to make sure, like, how much would it cost us to get every single missionary back to their home country? And they're like, I don't know. He sends that request to church headquarters. He's like, okay, how much would it cost? And they're like, what would that look like? And so they kind of like run the diagnostic on it, and they run through like a whatever you call
a number crunch.
Yeah, a number crunch. They like figure out how much it would cost, what it would take, and they had never done that before. And they're like, oh, it'd be like this much. She's like, okay, that's cool. And then a week later, all of a sudden, there's all kinds of the pandemic had like hit, and they shut the whole thing down. And they're like, we've got this many hours to get missionaries out.
Wow.
And so like places like the Philippines, they had to like go on like underground, like sneak their missionaries out and get them to a flight. And like there are miracle stories of getting missionaries back to their home countries, and every single one pretty much got back.
Really?
Except for there were some missionaries that were like couldn't get back to other foreign countries. So there were missionaries who were from Tonga and Samoa who couldn't get back, who were in Washington with me. But for the most part, all of my friends that I know that were serving got back. Everyone got back to the U.S., I think.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone got back to South America.
Right.
Wow. Could you imagine?
So they were in good hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're in Washington. Well, I don't know.
Church will take care of them.
Yeah,
But that part of the country really creeped me out. I was there maybe about 2 years prior to 2020, and just like the atmosphere in Portland area, Portland specifically.
Yeah.
It creeped me out. People are weird.
They're so weird over there, man. I was not a big fan of Portland, but it's like my second home, so I'm like, I like it, but I don't think I would ever live there.
I would. I love Portland. I mean, I talk about Portland a lot on this show for whatever reason, but it's a cool city. It looks really cool. The architecture is amazing. I love the green and the rain. It's all very pretty. But then you insert all these freaking. It's just so many weirdos condensed in one area. And it's not. I don't mean like cool weirdos. I'm not talking like Kurt Cobain, Nirvana weirdos. I'm talking like people that are off medication, like schizophrenic, violent fucking people riding bikes around butt naked, like looking to fucking kill, like hurt people physically.
And you saw the worst of it in a lot of situations.
Yeah,
where were you at?
I was in. I was EMT in Milwaukee, which is just south of. But we served like the Portland area, so I was always in Portland. My supervisor seen a guy jump off the 33rd Street Bridge onto like the whatever, I forget, the highway that runs along the.
Is that I-5 or is that 205?
205.
205.
Jumped right off that, like, and it was like bumper to bumper traffic. And this guy like, wah! And he said he made the noise, wah! Like he jumped.
Superman off.
Superman. And he said that, he watched it. He couldn't see past the barrier, so the guy jumped and then he died, but like he couldn't see the aftermath because the concrete barrier. But so I guess going back to what we were saying, like if I was a Tongan at that point, like I'd want to be in Tonga. Then fuck this place, dude. Personally.
Well, they were for the most part, everyone was either Vancouver or North.
Yeah, okay.
And so Vancouver is super wholesome.
Yeah, it's nothing like Portland, dude.
It's like night and day. Like you're like literally in hell in Portland, and then you cross the bridge and it's like, welcome to Vancouver.
Exactly. All the parks are clean. Like, what the hell is this?
Where? Yeah. So the first area I served, I was there for 6 months, was Camas. And Camas is like rich millionaires who work in Portland, who own businesses in Portland, who don't want to live there.
Don't want anything to do with the city, but get their money.
Yeah. So they're like, I'll live 20 minutes away and live in just the most bougie suburb I can find.
And it's amazing. Camas is so beautiful. What was the other community you said?
I served in Washougal.
Washougal. Yeah. Remember Washougal, Mayor? We used to drive out there. We used to, like, the Columbia River is just so fun to hang out.
So gorgeous.
It's cool. Such a cool place to hang out. But, so you didn't ride a bike.
I didn't ride a bike.
So you went door to door by foot.
I was car most of the time.
Really?
But we would because obviously I feel like there are people placed in your path. But if your path's in the car, then you're not gonna interact with other people. So we would park our car, and if we had to make 6 or 7 stops, we would just walk to all of them. So I was pretty much on foot. But if we were going to Vancouver to shop, we would drive.
Okay. That was weird. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
It was like one snowflake just dropped from the ceiling. Did you see that?
Sky. I saw it.
All right.
Squirrel.
That's not weird. So you'd walk door to door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, so 13 of these guys would rotate. You were the only 17. So 17. You were the only permanent position, and then people were just rotating.
So everyone, it's like a giant shift. So like there are in my mission there was anywhere from like 250 missionaries to like 170. And so every 6 weeks they do like a shuffle.
Okay.
And so the mission president, who is like the guy, he's like a missionary, but he's old. He's an old man.
Yeah.
And so, or he could be, I don't know, he could be anywhere from like 30 to
He's an
70.
old man.
He's an old fart.
30 to 40.
Older than 30.
Yeah,
Ew.
good Lord. Get him a cane.
An older guy. He will pretty much look at every single missionary and where they're at, and then he'll pray about it. And then all of a sudden, it's just like the pieces start coming together. And he's like, okay, this person's got to go here, this person's got to go here, this person's got to go here. And so you would like shuffle around. And I just happened to only have 4 different areas with 17 companions.
See, and that's what I really enjoy about LD. You guys just trust you just so much faith in the process. Like you don't question it. Like, okay, well, this guy's prayed about it, and apparently I'm going here, and there's no questioning it, and it's admirable.
Very obedient.
And I know some people get really weirded out about religions for whatever reason. I've had the argument with people, and I'm like, by no.
Oh, you could argue about any religion.
It's ridiculous. But when you say anything positive about a religion, though, like it's fucking nuts. Like as a secular guy, I guess would that be the word? Like I'm not like
you don't like identify with any.
I'm an earthly person.
You're like into trees and stuff? Or?
Yeah, sure, I guess, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love those kind of people.
I've gotten wood before.
Yeah. But like whenever even amongst other people who aren't very religious, if I were to say like, you know what I really like about the Mormon church is X, Y, and Z, and people get fucking worked up.
Really?
Like, how could you support? I said, look, I didn't say I support. I just say it's something I like about the Mormon Church. It's not saying that.
It's like.
We live in a day and age where you can't say anything. If you say anything positive about something, you're really just you're offending somebody over here who's taking it negatively. Everybody's just so ready to be bothered, I guess.
It is. That's totally the world we live in. People are looking to be offended about pretty much anything.
And it goes. And both sides. Both sides are fucking guilty of it.
That's why we can't TikTok live.
Yeah, dude. TikTok kicked us off 15 minutes after getting live. Yeah, we're on there live. Yeah. And they said, "Fuck these guys." Well, we had a friend that was talking about a gunfight he got into, and it wasn't like he wasn't lying. It was in the fucking newspaper. It's not like he made up. It's like, oh yeah.
We think that's what they do.
But yet you can be like a half-naked chick and just like
sure, right, sure.
Let him. This guy telling a story about something that actually happened. Like,
cut it.
Get that crap out of here.
But
exactly, I've been saying that.
Well, what's going on with TikTok right now? They're going to ban it. Is that what I hear?
Well, from like members of Congress and like federal positions, state like they're talking about keeping it out of the government altogether.
TikTok. Why is it in the government?
Government employees.
They can't use TikTok?
Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck the law is, man. They're just talking about it. So,
what would that change? What would be? People are behaving like there's going to be some.
They're worried of Chinese influence to the TikTok.
Right. I found out pretty quick that TikTok's owned by China.
Who cares, man?
Yeesh, man.
But I mean, I don't care. I don't know. I only have TikTok for our podcast. I don't know. Some people really
spy on me.
I've always thought that too. Like if you're gonna
our own government spying on us. I mean, who cares?
What are you gonna look at, bro?
Amazon probably is the biggest spies. Like they don't even spy. They just blatantly let you know we're listening to everything that you're saying. Apple too. They're all in on it.
And Facebook. You ever said something like, "Oh, I wish I had some Ghirardelli brownies right now," and you pull up there's like a Ghirardelli brownie ad on Facebook. You're like, shut up.
Well, I was talking about striped socks. How I want some I liked the old retro style socks, and then they showed up on my feed, and I was like, well, I do want these, so I bought them actually.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for doing that for me. But,
whoever did that, I thank you.
Yeah, thank you. They're listening. So I mean, sometimes it's not always bad, but at the same time, like I don't know. It's just fucking creepy. And the weirdest thing is what's the tubular shaped lady that lives in the house now, Alexa? Is that her name?
Alexa. Yeah.
Is that her name? Alexa? She just listens all day, and they don't
all day.
Yeah, and they're not hiding from it. They're like, yeah, we're basically just, even when it's off, it's running, and like, what the fuck? Like, and people just have it up in their house.
You ever done like the Hey Siri thing?
No, what's a Hey Siri thing?
Watch
On your
this.
phone.
Dude, this is wild.
All right, what happens?
Hey Siri. She just turns on. Look up toothpaste. You don't even touch it. Like she's just.
Oh, do I use Siri? Yeah, I use Siri.
Something like you don't have to touch a button. All you have to do is say Hey Siri.
Hey Siri. Mine didn't do it.
I feel like you have to. I think
Yours is
Is mine different?
well, I don't know. It may be because there's an Apple and there's a Droid.
Hey
Siri. But it's Siri. I mean, it's all creepy to me. It's all fucking weird. It's all fucking weird that they.
It's wild.
So I'm 40, and when I was a kid,
Gosh,
like
you're old.
I'm old.
Old man.
You don't remember any of this shit, huh? When we were kids, like there was nothing even remotely close to like cell phone.
No, I don't remember that.
Dude, it's so long.
We all had cell phones. Since
Well,
it
it's
came
crazy to
out.
think that we were alive, running around like blowing shit up before Google. So like, if we wanted to learn how to make a dry ice bomb, we just had to fucking know. Like,
do it.
we had to watch drunk uncles make them.
I saw my friend do this one time. I don't
Is
know,
this
man.
enough?
Yeah, right. It's crazy to think that how fast it's. You know, I don't know if you guys. I feel like. Do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, I'm a big podcast guy.
So I've been listening to the same like fucking story about Travis Walton. You know, have you heard? You know who he is?
I don't know who that is.
The guy, he got abducted in Snowflake, Arizona in the 70s. So by an alien ship. And I've been listening to this story forever. And then yesterday I heard a podcast series that I heard something different for the first time from this. Like, so this guy got like abducted, obviously.
In
Snowflake in front of 7 other people.
And they all confirmed.
They all confirmed it. So like that's what this podcast was saying was like, so all science is just evidence and data, and evidence is data, and you know, backed up by data and whatever. So like there's 7 people. So he was the 7th. So no, he was the 8th. So 7 people watched this. All of them passed the polygraph test multiple times. One of them didn't. The first time he was inconclusive because he was just a nervous wreck. It'd be like me.
It's because he was like wanted to.
Yeah, he was
or
like,
he had a warrant or had a criminal history.
Yeah, he was very nervous. They're all a bunch of loggers, and this guy's like a criminal from out of town who happened to join the crew like a day before this guy got abducted in front of them. So when he took the polygraph test, he wasn't worried about this guy's fucking alien. He was worried about the fucking the warrants he's running from.
Yeah.
So he was like but then eventually he came clean because they were trying to charge they were going to charge him all with murder.
Seriously.
And they were really looking at him because he was nervous.
The most fidgety. They're like, who the hell is this? And then it all came out like, well, he's like, okay, truth is like, I've got a past, but I really did see this guy get abducted. And that was the one piece that made it even more concrete evidence, because they were like, so in order for this to work, this one guy who joined the crew, yesterday, had to join the crew and then get in cahoots with 6 other guys he didn't know and create this whole story about Travis Walton getting abducted, and then just come. So when they brought it up to the deputies, they were like, hey, this is what happened. They went straight from the mountain to the deputy, and immediately all the deputies like, you murdered him. Like, it was weird. Like, everybody,
no question. What the heck?
Yeah, you murdered him. So they were all like being tried for. So Travis Walton was. I learned this yesterday. This is like the piece.
Is he still gone? No,
he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he got abducted. He was in the spaceship that he can remember. He was in it for 1 hour, but in Coconino County or wherever, Yavapai County, wherever he whatever county Snowflake's in. They were
maybe Navajo. I don't know.
Maybe, but 5 fucking days search and rescue, and everybody's looking for him, and he was gone, nowhere to be. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing about this. So they brought up a team of guys that at this point, because this is like in the 70s, so there's like they were lagging a lot of shit, like technologically they were behind. But at this point, like they had brought in people that could find radioactive material. And where he was abducted, it was radioactive. Like there was like, well, there shouldn't be radioactivity here. And it was in a clearing where he was abducted originally. So in the clearing, all of the tree stumps have grown exponentially. Anything that was in that area has grown taller than everything around the area. So like,
we need aliens.
We need them, dude.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, he fucking explained it pretty well. And he explained the abduction it's happened 50 years ago.
And he can explain it clear as day.
Everybody that was there explains it exactly as they seen it every time.
That's insane.
So it's like, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt in my mind that this guy got fucking abducted by aliens. not only abducted, but abducted, brought back. And they were trying. What happened was, so I don't know. I didn't expect for the show to go this direction, but I guess we're here. So,
I love when it comes to aliens, man.
I love it, dude. Alien abduction stories to me are fucking way more interesting than any other subject, almost anywhere. Like, it's because the people that have been abducted and have like come out and talked about being abducted, their stories are so believable. So like in Travis Walton's case, like he's passed every polygraph test. He's been through the fucking ringer. And he does say like, listen guys, if this was for money, wouldn't I be getting money? Like I'm not even getting anything. Yeah. My kids are getting harassed at school. You know, I mean his kids are older now, but he said like, it wasn't easy for him because it's a very religious community up there. So they were like, oh yeah, you're just fucking with everybody and you're, you know, but his story was what happened. The way he explains it is, there was an alien. There was a UFO hovering in this clearing, and these guys were all leaving this area with these are tree loggers, and they were leaving. And they come across this alien ship, and they're all fucking shocked by it. Like, holy shit! There's a UFO in the clearing over there. Well, Travis Walton was the youngest, I want to say, of all of them, and he wanted to impress. In the truck with them was his future brother-in-law. So his girlfriend's older brother. So he's like, I'm going to impress him by going up to this spaceship, which was fucking mind-blowing. Like, stupid in my opinion.
Hold my beer. Okay?
Yeah, hold my beer. Watch this. So he said that when he got close to it, he said everybody's shocked. First of all, just even process that visually. There's a UFO just hovering above the ground, and he said when he started to get close to it, it was emitting a sound that was so deep and like that it was not even a sound more than a feeling, like a bass. And he said, but then at the same time, simultaneously, there was these high pitched sounds that were coming from it. So it was like there was nothing, there was no exhaust coming from this thing. How much energy would it take to have something that far off the ground, or, you know, even to be levitating? So he was looking for an exhaust or something. And he said he walked up and touched it. And boom, this thing fucking sent him flying into the air. And all of them watching this, and they panicked and they drove off, leaving this guy for dead. And then they realized, like, the older brother, or the guy is like, well, fuck, that's my girlfriend's little brother. Like, that's not going to look good. So he turns around, they all turn around and go back, and he's gone and the UFO's gone. So what Travis Walton has explained is that the aliens didn't mean to abduct him, but when he got too close to it, and whenever they left, they actually took him with him, and they didn't realize that he was even on board until he doesn't know how far away he was. He thought when he came to, he was on an operating table surrounded by aliens, and they were trying to give him oxygen because he couldn't really breathe, and he was panicking, and then they fed him oxygen, and then he actually stormed out of the operating room. In the movie, they made a movie about this called Fire in the Sky.
Really?
Yeah, and he said it's so fucking off base. Like, they show these aliens like cutting him open and like put him in a cage. Like, none of that shit happened. Like, they were trying to help me with my oxygen levels, and they were able. Like, he panicked and he ran out of this room, and like a humanoid alien caught up to him and was trying to tell him like, hey, we're trying to get you back to Earth, and like it was a process for these guys. You know, it'd be like now if we were to just if you were to leave my house, one of my children were accidentally, you know, in the back seat, like, but they couldn't speak to you. Right.
They exclusively speak French.
Yeah, they're just fucked. You're like, how am I going to get you turn around, come, and let's say you were like maybe a block away from your house.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, okay, I got to turn around and take. So that's what happened. So they brought this guy back. He was like, 2 counties over, butt naked, and they dropped him off in the road. And then he ran to a payphone. Colette called his brother, and his brother came and got him. But the synopsis, I guess, is this guy got fucking abducted. It answers almost every single question we have in terms of are we alone or not. I was asking you guys if you listen to podcasts. I don't know what even got this. How do we get here?
Dude, honestly, I don't know. I feel like that it's just like a matter of time before it gets there. You ever watch like Joe Rogan? I feel like every time I listen to a Joe Rogan podcast, he's like, aliens.
Dude, it's so natural to get brought up because and everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that doesn't get brought up in Joe Rogan, or the one alien abduction story that never gets brought up almost anywhere, which is just as mind-blowing, is the Barney and Betty Hill, those guys at Niagara Falls, that couple, they're a married couple.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what, Niagara Falls?
I don't know. No, the abduction story. I've never heard of it before.
They're an interracial couple in the 60s, and they get abducted by. And this is like a very run-of-the-mill story. Well, they get abducted, and the aliens bring him back. The only thing that really fucking shook me about this story is when they were abducted. The wife, I guess an alien tried to befriend the wife and gave her a drawing of the star system that they were from. And then another alien's like, hey, we can't give that away. Mm-hmm. But she remembers looking at it. And when she got home and they actually talked they needed professional help, for many reasons.
Many.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine?
I could.
And then she remembered the star system and drew it. And she drew it by memory, and then it was disregarded. Somebody they documented and they put it away in some folder somewhere, never to be seen light day again. Well, it turns out like that happened in the 60s, and then like in the 90s, some school teacher came across it, and we by that time had been more advanced in terms of like being able to keep an eye on our what the stars look like so far away, and it was actually a star system called the Zeta Reticuli system. Yeah. It's light years and light years and light years and light years away. There's no way we could ever reach it, but it's there. And yeah, so the drawing matched right up to this school teacher's happened. Like this star system exists. I don't know.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That is so, you know what movie I watched the other day that I'd never seen before, but all of my friends had told me to watch it? Was you ever seen Interstellar?
Oh, dude,
Interstellar. Oh, yeah. That movie's fire.
Fucking crazy. Did
so
you know
good.
In the scene where they go to that planet and it looks like it's like only 3 foot of water. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So did you know that there's a ticking sound in the score? So it's like this score is being played, the music's being played, but there's a ticking sound, and for every tick is a year.
Really?
Yeah. So so for every ticking sound you hear, it's like
it's a year. Those movies, Christopher Nolan is a genius, man. Yeah, he's so in depth with that stuff.
They go so far into it. I'm actually writing a paper on a movie called Children of Men. Have you seen this? Oh man, fucking mind blowing.
Really?
And you ever wonder how do they fucking go so far under the radar? Like, you ever notice, like, if you ever find a movie that's really good and you're like, why isn't this more fucking popular? Children of Men is
advertisement.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't properly. It wasn't properly advertised. Yeah. But it's such a good movie, still, regardless of how well it was advertised. And his movie is about people it's mass infertility, so we were unable to produce. So the movie takes place 20 years after the mass infertility, and it's just takes place of this fucking guy. He's a big drunk who actually ends up saving the world on accident. But like, I know that's a horrible
good for him
description of the movie. But I always wonder, like, how do such good movies just fly under the radar like that? I
feel, dude, this is like my own personal like conspiracy theory. I think there's some like intervention with that kind of stuff where, I don't know, you ever like watch the most amazing movie you've ever seen? You're like, I wonder what the critics say about this, and you'll go like look on Rotten Tomatoes and it's like 50, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Out of 100, like that was a good movie. Or you'll see a movie and you're like, that was pretty okay, like it was alright, and it's got like the most amazing reviews.
Scooby-Doo 3D, like, oh, this is mind blowing. Like Rotten Tomatoes just raving about these fucking stupid movies. Like, what?
Yeah,
that's the fucking worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Or like like Fight Club has like a 70 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, same with the movie Labyrinth. It has like a 5.
And those are freaking Labyrinth. Awesome. With like that's with David Bowie, yeah.
Yeah, Gavin. Were you by any chance named after? That's the name of the baby in the movie. Dance, Gavin, dance.
I don't know if I am or not. My parents are kind of weird. I could see that.
Yeah, maybe.
They actually showed me that movie when I was like 10, and I was like, "What?"
Have you seen that movie, Jason?
Which one?
Labyrinth.
I'm sure I have.
The movie of David Bowie stuffed a sock in his crotch because he wanted his dick to look big, and he.
What a guy!
Yeah, I mean, he admitted it too. He's like, "Yeah, no,
Who hasn't done that ever?"
You make it.
But yeah, so the Labyrinth I thought was a really.
I've had a sock and I've got a crotch, so.
I mean, you're doing it right now.
I stuffed the crotch in the sock.
Maybe.
Pretty much most days, just the sock.
Look how big his nutsack is. Because that's the thing about Jason. I know that this might feel a little inappropriate, and I apologize in advance, but Jason's got a huge nutsack, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Awesome,
one of them's real big right now. I don't know if I should get it checked.
And then whenever he's standing in basketball shorts against the wind, which seems to happen a lot, it's like there's always so much like it leaves.
Dang!
Like, wow, that's a big nutsack. And his dick is like regular size, but it sits. I feel like I talk about this a lot on the show, but oh well.
Tell me more.
So it sits so appropriately on top of his ball sack, and then like when the wind blows up again, like it reminds me, and I've depanced him before multiple times.
Naturally.
And
that's how he got such a good look.
Yeah, I mean,
let me get a good gander.
Oh yeah, I know exactly how.
What are we working with here?
It looks like a purple acorn on top of a beanbag, is what I mean. And it's just, I mean, it's just the instances where I've been able to de-pants Jason. They present themselves so often.
Right. I feel like that builds a good friendship. Is how many times like you've pantsed them and seen their meat. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's been a number of
really good friends.
I got him in a Mexican restaurant one time, dude.
It was like underwear and everything.
Well, he told me, he said, I almost didn't wear underwear because like the night before we went and seen this country band, the Lost Dog. Actually, where I got this hat.
Oh,
the Lost
you were
Dog.
there, weren't
yeah,
you?
hey, Lauren was there actually. Yeah, we went to. I mean, we were up all night, fucking just throwing back whiskey shots, and I don't remember getting home. I do remember singing in Spanish though. I was thinking about this the other day. It crossed my mind. Do you remember whenever we stopped at that bar and I was singing in Spanish?
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Lauren? Good. It was a good time.
Really?
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Yeah, it was. And then
I was surprised.
And then we the next morning we went to Ghetto Canelo in Tucson, which is an amazing place for burros. And Jason and our buddy Zach were standing in line, and I wasted not the opportunity because I knew that this was going to be perfect. So I actually set up my cell phone video and set it up on the table. And as Jason's pointing to what he wants, I pulled his pants down all the way around.
Got it on camera and everything.
Perfect.
Well done.
And he told me though later, he said, I almost didn't wear underwear today. Which was a totally different set of circumstances. But yeah, sorry. Thanks for taking that in stride, because you did. I wasn't sure. It was different. I pushed the envelope. I typically depants him like at the lake. Or
if I didn't have Jones on, who knows, man.
Yeah, we've talked about that. It was like earlier when we started this show. We talked about like what if I would have accidentally flashed your dick to somebody else.
I may have attacked you naked.
We would have made the newspaper. New drunk man.
Knock you down and teabag you.
I mean, I deserve it, dude.
Public indecency and battery.
I totally asked for it. I'd be like, well, I mean, that's what happens when you pull a man's pants down when he's trying to order a burro.
That's just unfair, man.
So I've actually gotten Jason a number of times, and he's a champ about it. Like, he's never really retaliated. Although he did pour fucking freezing ass water down my back at
a thimble full.
Which I think started. No, it was not. No, that's how he tells it, but that's not what fucking happened. I was hungover as hell, dying, sitting in a camping chair like that, just trying to survive. And Jason poured freezing cold water down my. Probably could have put me in a shock.
Was it just like overload of sensations?
Yes.
You're like
no, yeah, it wasn't like it was like ugh, like my whole body froze up. So I was like,
I'm hungover.
From this day forward, I'll depants him any chance I get. And I think that's about when it started. Yeah.
And that's where it all began.
You fucking got dude, that's camping. So we go. I mean, I don't know how much you listen to the podcast now, but we talk a lot about our camping trips, and like some of those camping trips get fucking. I mean, it's been a while. When we were younger, these camping trips would get fucking crazy. And I was thinking the other day, because Smith has been brought up.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about. Do you know where Arcadia is?
Yeah.
So there's two different levels of Arcadia. There's up
lower and upper.
Yeah. So when we were kids, it was me and Smith, and then we used to take Travis. I had this friend named Travis who was inbred.
I think you've talked about Travis.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like things went south for him because he things about him became they surfaced. They weren't very pretty. We found out later in life. But when we were kids, we didn't know, and he was just an inbred guy that was really funny and that we used to fuck with so much.
How inbred?
Dude, like extremely inbred.
Like sister and
there's his
he almost can't talk right.
Yeah. But he's got a great sense of humor. I mean, really does.
We keep him around.
Well, when I met the guy, I really like, we hit it off. Like, I thought he was fucking hilarious. He made me laugh a lot. Like, yeah, I thought he was like the funniest human that ever lived. I was like, dude, this guy's hilarious. Like, Jason, I think all of us, we pushed him to a point oftentimes where he would absolutely come undone. And when we were kids one time, so we went camping up at, we were Upper Arcadia. Mm-hmm. We spent a lot of time in that area. And I remember we were playing a pine cone. We had a pine cone war. Did you ever play pine cone wars?
Of course.
Yeah. And so these games would get heated. And we'd break it up into groups, like, all right, you're over here and you're over there. And whatever group Travis was in, they would typically lose because everybody was just gunning for this guy, you know? Just fucking. And it was like, I remember throwing these pine cones as hard as I could. Like, a full max effort. And I remember one time, it was the middle of the day. It was probably noon. And we are all just beating Travis with pine. And he's running. We all ran around shirtless and blue jeans with no socks or shoes on. And that was the uniform in the mountain, you know, like
the mountain uniform.
The mountain uniform. Yeah. So I remember we're like fucking pegging him, and he's running around up top at Upper Arcadia, and he's like begging us to stop. I mean, it's bullying at that point, you know. It sucks, but it is what it like. He didn't fuck with us too, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to paint this picture like we are victimizing this guy. He also fucked with us too. So his feet used to stink so bad that when he'd come over to my house, my mom would make him take off his fucking shoes, and they'd set him outside, and there was buzzards flying around our house one time. Fucking buzzards. Yeah, really? Circling the house. They thought something was dead on our fucking porch.
That is wild.
His fucking shoes. Do you remember his feet smelling?
I feel like every friend group needs.
I tried not to get that close to him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone needs
the stinky guy that will do anything. Right?
Yeah, that was him, dude. Like we got him so bad with these pine cones that he ran down into Lower Arcadia where a family was camping, and there was a child riding her bike with a helmet on, and Travis picked up a rock and said, "If you hit me with one more pine cone, I'm going to smash this child's head in."
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like, dude, you're unhinged. Like, we can't, like... So the dad...
We went too far.
Yeah, the dad of the kid was like, who the fuck are all these kids? Yeah. Like, so he's like, he's going to fight Travis for good reason. I'd absolutely fucking body somebody that's going to threaten to... Because he's getting hit with pine cones, you're going to kill my child? Like, so yeah. Hey, dude.
John Wick, man.
I get ugly fucking fast. But this guy, like, so in these camping spots, like, I don't know why that we weren't kicked off this mountain permanently forever, because we really should have been multiple times. But I remember like that there was also like a Christian. So that story ended, and like we're like, okay, we're sorry for making you literally lose your fucking mind to the point of murder. So we apologize, and so we went back to camp and everybody.
Sorry,
yeah, sorry. Yeah,
like, what's up?
Yeah, we went too far. But so like it was probably like 2 weeks later, we were camping, and there was like a Christian church youth camp happening, you know, and there was like all these people down there, and they're playing volleyball or whatever. They were singing Christian songs on their guitar, and they looked pretty festive. Well, two of my friends, Smith and Crum, they were like, dude, I wonder if there's any girls down there. I'm like, I'm sure.
How old are you guys?
We were probably like 17.
You're like, we were 21. I don't know.
Yeah, we were 30. Dude, but yeah, these guys were like, they went. We're always drinking too. It's crazy to look back on this at time of our life, because I was 17 years old. We always had an ice chest full of beer. I'm like, how'd
you get it?
Yeah, right. That's a good question. Like, who the fuck? I wash dishes. Everybody else just seemed to have like odd jobs, like whatever.
Yeah.
But we always just had like an endless supply of beer. But I remember these guys were like, I'm going to go down there and see if there's any girls. So these two guys walked down there, met two girls, and then like started talking to them. Well, the church camp advisor, like, get the hell out of here. Like, get back up on your perch, you shirtless, shoeless weirdos.
Pine cone throwing.
Yeah, losers. Yeah, right. And I remember specifically that night, falling asleep, like, they were getting drunk. They were getting super, super drunk. And they were like, I can hear them like cooking up this plan, like, let's go down there. And they're like whispering to each other, let's go down there, let's get those girls, dude. I'll bring them back up here. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, this is never gonna work. I was asleep. I'm in the tent, right? Uh-huh. So I'm in the tent. I can hear it through my mosquito netting. Like, this is never gonna work. But this is gonna be funny when that youth pastor whoops these guys, whoops their ass, you know. And he was like a cool youth pastor. He had like a cross tattoo and like, you know, he was a cool guy, you know.
The cool youth pastor.
Yeah, cool youth pastor, right? So I was like,
stay away from my girls.
Yeah, he was.
Those are mine. Those are mine. What the heck?
They ain't for you.
Find your own.
Oh my. That is horrible. You know what I think now, looking back on it? What the fuck was this guy doing with all these kids? And all of them were like teenagers. Like there wasn't like, so like maybe he was just grooming them. But
for the best.
But that's not where the story ended.
Okay.
So I remember like I was like, okay, well I want to see where this goes. So I laid quietly in bed. There was multiple points where I wanted to be like, don't do this. It's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea, and I don't even need to say why. It's just a bad. You're fucking hammered drunk. You know what? You're gonna sneak into the Christian camp and
creep in there.
Yeah, fucking shirtless, shoeless. Like, let's. What are you gonna knock on? The mosquito netting? How are you gonna even get their attention? So like somehow though, I passed out. Right? Yeah. I passed out, and I woke up and I heard girls in our camp. I was like, dude, they did it.
They've done it.
They pulled off the impossible. So I remember like the way that my tent was setting though, like the mosquito netting. I remember like pushing my, because it moves, you know. So I was like stretching it out really far to see, and I looked at the camp, and there was 2 girls there. I was like, oh my god, dude, this is crazy. Yeah. And it was like only one of the times where I was like, I didn't want anything to do with this because like. I don't want my fingerprints on this fucking mess. You know, so if I act like I'm asleep the whole entire time, when the cool karate, you know, MMA watching youth pastor comes up here and just starts cartwheeling around and whooping ass, like I'll be in bed. So I remember I was like, well, I'm going back to bed. And I woke up, and it was like I remember like I could see like the skyline, like trees, like it was like morning time, and this pastor was up there like, "You guys are fucking out of line. You know what? I'm gonna call the cops." And they were like, "We're sorry, sir. We're sorry." They're getting their asses chewed out. And I was like, "Oh shit, dude." Nothing physical happened though. But I mean, I was like, holy shit. I remember like the next morning talking to them, like, how'd you guys do that? Dude, we did it. We just got drunk and we're like crawled down there. We just happened to knock on the right tent. So,
we were just guided. We just found them. We followed the fireflies.
Yeah. Funny enough, it's funny you say that because it was like 2 weeks later, we were at the same spot camping, and we were all fucking drunk, hammer drunk. And there was caterpillars that were glowing. I'd never seen it before. They were like glowing, like they looked like they almost like a firefly, but consistently. They were just glowing, and they were everywhere, all over that campsite. We're like, wow, and we're all hammered, fucking drunk. Like, wow, dude, we're like everybody's laying on the floor, rolling around on them, like looking at them, holding, and then we all passed out, right? Because we were just hanging out, fucking hammered drunk in this field of glowing fucking water caterpillar. It was a watermelon for some reason. So we're laying there, and I remember I passed out, and I woke up, and there was a whole shitload of college students walking through this, like in this area that because we didn't fall asleep. We were way away from our campsite. We were like in this trail.
Just passed
out. And then like this school teacher like woke me up, and he was like, hey, are you guys all right? There's a whole bunch of you, and like you guys aren't moving, and we need to get through here to get to this. I was like, oh yeah. And I was waking everybody up like, hey guys, we fell asleep on the trail. There's like all these like hot fucking college girls.
You're like am I in heaven?
It was so uncomfortable, man. But that campsite, every time I pass it, I think like, what a good time.
Yes.
So how often do you go camping? So, and like as a missionary, do you guys ever get to do anything like that? Because that's a beautiful area out there. You never got to go camping.
Pretty. We did lots of hiking, but you don't do any camping. You have to sleep in your apartment or at another missionary's place.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like have a slumber party?
Yeah, you could do that. We would do. They'd call them exchanges. So everyone, like you're with your companion. I don't know if you know this. You stay with your companion 24/7. The only time you are not with him is when you're being interviewed by the mission president or you're in the bathroom.
Has anything ever like what's the word I'm looking for? How easy would it be to commit a crime as a duo? Because you'd be the least likely people in the world to commit a crime. Has this ever happened? Like 2 more minutes. Yeah, like robbing a bank. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it happens that much.
That much? So it's happened?
I'm sure. Obviously, I'm sure it's happened at some time. Not that I know of, but there's some weird people out there. Because what happens is you get all these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, right?
Right.
And some of us are like, we're going to go because we know this is true. We want everyone else to feel the power that they can bring their lives. Right. And then you have the ones that are like, I'm going so my parents will get off my back.
Really? Mm-hmm. That seems like a lot of fucking work to get your parents off your back.
Right? I'm like, dude, just don't go.
Go to community college.
Yeah, right, go do something else.
Right.
So that would always bug the heck out of me when there was someone out there who was just like, I don't want to be here. Like, and they would just bide their time and do stupid stuff. So they would do anything but do what they were supposed to.
Wow.
They would like just stay inside their apartment all day and just kind of twiddle their fingers or play games, and it would bug the heck out of me.
And so, what happens to them? Like, do they eventually get like?
No, they just. I had a couple of companions that were like that. Yeah. That didn't want to do anything, and I just would drag them along with me. Like, hey, we're leaving. It'd be like 10 o'clock. That's usually when you leave the apartment. Yeah. Hey, we're leaving. We're going. You're coming with me, and I don't care what you do, but you just have to be with me. And you'd be like, okay, cool.
And really? They would just...
I never had anyone that would be like, no.
They just tag along?
Because they know that's what they're supposed to do.
Right, that's what they're fucking doing. That's what we're here for.
So you signed up to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And once you're in it, like once you like take the step out the door, once you talk to the first person, it like feels so normal.
Right.
It just like, okay, yeah, it kind of flows.
How often were people like rude to you?
The areas where I was at, everyone was really nice.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about this before when we brought it up, but right as the COVID pandemic hit, everyone I feel like was just kind of beaten down. You know, when you're just like you're out on your luck, you're like in the worst spot in your life, and everyone like no one's interacted with like other people for months, right. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you can go back outside again, and then we walk in the door and they're like, I'll let anybody in. Like, my life has sucked. I just lost my grandma to COVID. Like, right. I don't know what life is about. And so we saw tons of people get baptized because of that. Wow. They'd be like, and then they would find meaning in what we were teaching. Right. And they'd be like, I feel like I was humbled so that I could learn about this. Because there's no way I would have let you in my door before
pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. My boy, he chased him out with the hose. With the water hose.
Missionaries?
Really?
Why?
Off the place where she's living right now at the trailer.
Why? Really? What were they bought?
No, he was just outside. Like the plague. He was just outside, and he just sprayed them when they came out the gate.
That's cool.
Didn't know, you know.
You get all kinds of people.
He would have sprayed anybody that would have came through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, they just happened to get it.
Just happened to be in the right place at the right time. There would be people that would be like, well, there was this one time, just off the top of my head, there were millions of times this happened, but we were knocking on this lady's door because she said that she wanted to learn about the gospel. So we knock on her door, and she's like, actually, I changed my mind, and we're like, okay, well, there's a reason why we're here. So is there anyone in the neighborhood that you think could use Jesus Christ in their life, that could use a little bit of hope, a little bit of peace? And she's like, yeah, Joe, just down the road right there. We're like on the top of this mountain like literally it's like we're on Mount Graham, like just on the top of it. She's like, yeah, if you just like go down this whatever and take a left right here, and like leads us to this guy's house. So we go into it, and it's like a whole like compound. It's got like a big old fence. It's got like buildings, and there are just like all these aggressive looking dogs. And I'm just like, God will protect us. So I'm just like, let's go. And they're like these like snarling dogs. They're like barking at us. And my companion's like, we're not going in there. I'm like, yeah, we are. Come on now. This lady just told us that this guy needs us.
It's Joe.
Come on now. It's Joe. Everybody loves Joe. So we walk in there, and the dogs, like, the second we open the gate, just turn into like Fluffy the dog. Like, they're so nice. I was like, okay. So we walk up to the door, we knock on this guy's door, and he opens it a little bit later, and he's like, what are you guys doing here? And we're like, oh, your neighbor Kathy up the street said you might need her. She's like, get the F off my property. Right. Is what he said. And we're like, are you sure you don't want to learn? And at this point, I'm like, okay. We drove all the way over here, walked all the way over here. I'm not leaving without like getting to say something, because I was being kind of a turd. I was like, well, sir, this message would really bless your life. Right. I'm like starting to be a punk, and he's like, get out of here before I shoot you in the face.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, you're not going to shoot us in the face. And he's like, my dogs will attack you. I'm like, your dog's the nicest dogs I've ever seen. And he's like, you better get the F out of here before you do something you're going to regret. And I'm like, okay, Elder, let's go. So we just bounced. Yeah. We just walked right out, and the dogs just like followed us. We're like,
escorted you off the property.
Tongues out. And I was like, I don't know. There are some people who I feel like, because I believe that God, I know that God wants everyone to have an opportunity to find peace in their life, right? So he's like, okay, he's going to give everyone has the ability to choose. He's going to bless everyone with an opportunity to be like, okay, yes or no.
Right.
And I feel like that was that guy's opportunity to say no. And that's why we were let on the property. That's why the dog's going to rip us to shreds.
Well, it's literally impossible to argue with that.
Right.
Whatever you're saying. But yeah, I think it's like when you say stuff like that, it's like, how scary. Because you're literally just knocking on people's doors. You don't know what's on the other side of that door. You'd be a total fucking loon. Somebody who just lost so many, like 4 people to COVID, lost their job, war vet.
Right.
You never know. And, and then like what, some 2, perky kids knocking on the door like, hey, you want to talk about that? Like,
it's like,
you're more likely.
I would kind of be scared if they let me in, really.
Yeah, I would be frightened about.
You'd be surprised. I would we'd walk into like the sketchy.
We're strong young man.
Very fit.
Yeah, very fit.
You ever heard of Centralia before? Yeah. Centralia, Washington. It's like right between Portland and Olympia.
I've heard the name.
No, Portland, Seattle. It's like between Portland and Seattle. It's like 10 minutes outside of Olympia.
Is anywhere near Bellevue?
It's pretty close to Bellevue.
Okay.
So it is the spot where all the drug dealers from Portland and all the miscreants from Seattle meet up and do their deals. So this place is just sketch. And I would walk into these neighborhoods, and I wish I could tell you it would just overcome me. Like, we're fine. But then I took my brother back in January. We went back to those same neighborhoods, and I was scared. I stayed in the car.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just have this weird confidence. You're like, I know we're gonna be fine. I know we're gonna be taken care of.
Well, look, ultimately, if you believe what you believe, and when you die, and if you're doing the Lord's work, there's only one place for you. So there's really nothing to worry about. Really.
Yeah, I believe that.
I could see that. I could see there being some confidence, hey, well, I mean, shoot me.
Fine. Yeah.
I'm going to heaven or what? There's only one way. There's only one place for me to go.
Yeah,
so
I'm not losing this battle, sir.
Yeah. So I overheard a return missionary, tell a story, and he was in Texas, and he watched some guy get gunned down. Yeah, he was telling the story. I couldn't believe it. He said, "Yeah, if I was a missionary, if I ended up on a mission, I'd be fucking mortified that I'd end up somewhere like this. The place he described sounded like a war zone. And you're just some Mormon kid on a fucking 10-speed. You're like a moving target, really become very easy to become a victim. But anyhow, he's telling the story. He said he went up to a door, they knocked on it, and then they were told no. This house didn't have any windows or anything. It was a pretty run down. And they said that they overheard somebody come in, it sounded like through the back door of this building, and then whoever was living there got gunned down, and they seen it through the lack of window, I guess. And they were like, "Holy shit!" And they ran, and they ended. So the Mormon or for every. There's a
mission president?
Yes, a mission president came down immediately and got him, and they had to go fill a police report. It's a big old mess, dude.
Yeah.
So it's just, if there was missionaries need their own podcast. They really do, because I couldn't imagine the stories that would come out of these people that could tell. Because my old partner on the ambulance, he served in the Dominican Republic, and he's told some we would be driving home. And he would tell me stories about what life was like in the Dominican Republic. And it made everything that I was going through seem so fucking minuscule. He said he witnessed people that literally, they didn't have a house. They just lived in the ground. A fort, essentially. They built themselves a fort well enough to live in. And they wouldn't, they're not promised any food. They don't got food stamps. They don't got a system like that over there. So
no fancy shanty to live in.
You gotta fucking figure out, man. If you want to eat, you better figure it out. And I always think, man, so missionaries, and not even just Mormon missionaries, in general, missionaries. Yeah. I mean, if there was a podcast or something just to hear some of their stories outside of religion, because we all know where if we want to hear
where to go.
Yeah, you know where to go. That's not
right.
Yeah.
Just their stories.
Just your stories. Like, I want to hear about the time that you were in.
Well, I feel like that. Like, where else? Like, what other programs in the world do you send these kids that like just graduated high school or in their first year of college or anywhere? The ages are like 18 to 26.
Yeah.
Like anywhere in those ages where you just like send them to a culture completely different from their own and are just like live with them.
That's a combat story, really.
It is.
I mean,
it really.
It's like on a it's not like war. Like it's not like soldiers. Like we are like our neighbors were the people that we were living like they were the natives, and if I were to go to wherever country, like you would live with those people, you would work with those people, you would talk with those people, and that's like such an eye-opening experience
at that age
right. That can totally, because what happens is you get these missionaries that go out, and if they're like they want to stay in that trajectory and they have ambition, they become super successful people.
Obviously, I mean, there's really you're literally given every tool you need at that age, like how to deal with the world.
Yeah.
You've done it. You've seen it all. You've dealt with it all. Like, that's what I think about when missionaries. My sister was a missionary, is like a Christian missionary, but she would talk about that sometimes, and I would hear like just the idea of being so young. Because when I was 18, I was laying concrete in Houston, Texas, building pools and fucking beer bonging beers and like traveling. Like, I was in a band. Like, right. I was not at all like, who can I help? It was the furthest thing from my fucking mind. So when I hear about these Mormon missionaries that are fucking 18 years old, and well, you guys fund this yourselves.
Yeah.
You guys fund your own missions. It's mind-blowing. When I was 18 years old, if somebody would have told me, hey, go get a job because you're going to save up all the money you worked for, and while going to school, and then when you're graduating, you're going to take all that money and you're going to go somewhere you've never been, potentially learn a whole new language, and you're going to be super fucking nice to everybody that you meet, and you're going to give them the Lord's word, and for 2 years, and you come back and you don't graduate anything. It's not like you get a diploma for it. You just did a good job. You did a mission. I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Absolutely not. But now that I'm 40, I look back like, man, what a blessing that would have been. Because, I mean, who knows?
I don't know, man. It is like pretty much because I studied pretty much every religion. Like, I could pretty much tell you about most religions and their basic beliefs and their leaders and how they were started, because you just learn all that. So I've got a pretty solid overview. And every single basic belief is get outside of yourself and help other people.
Right.
And I can tell you firsthand, I promise you that is the best way to live. It's so it's hard for me to live like that now because I'm taking 22 college credits and I have 2 jobs, so it's like, how can I focus on other people when I'm doing that? But it's just like the little things, you know?
Find a way.
You find ways.
Right.
And I think that's like, you just like feel like yourself.
Right.
Like, you ever like wake up and you're like, I'm not who I'm supposed to be?
Yes.
Every day I woke up on my mission, I was like,
This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
And what a refreshing feeling that was,
right.
I loved it.
When I'm not doing when I'm doing what I'm not supposed to be doing, like I can feel it.
Totally can.
Day 3 at the lake and I'm chugging beers, I'm not eating right, and I'm just like, God, I don't know. I'm thinking to myself like, I shouldn't be doing this, But like, whenever I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like you can always feel it. You always, it always feels better. And I will say that like, I'm the furthest thing from a missionary, but I will say that like as an EMT, helping people is the closest you're going to get to feeling complete. Ever, regardless of your belief or nationality or sexual orientation, whatever the hell they want to throw at us these days. Like, so long as like you're really helping people, it's the only way to really fight depression and anxiety is just to get out there and do something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So I see Mormon missionaries on their bikes, whatever. I'm always like, good for these kids. They're gonna figure it. They got a jump start.
Yeah. It's pretty spectacular. I would do it again.
Yeah.
Like, if I had the funds and I had
You would do it again?
I would do it again.
Really?
I was just talking to one of my friends today, and he was like, bro, I don't know if I could ever do that again. And I'm like, I like know what kind of... he's going to listen to this and be like, you freaking jerk. I know how much effort you put into it.
Yeah.
And he was kind of the one that was like dragging along, like kind of stay in the... And I was like, I promise if you like gave it your all, you would do it again.
Well, and it seemed like in something like that with a mission, it seems like you're going to get out whatever you put in. Like if you put in like 10%, you're going to get 10% back. But if you're out there like doing it, what you're supposed to be doing, what they send you guys like a little boot camp or some, not a boot camp, but like somewhere in Salt Lake City.
Prep. Yeah, they call it the Missionary Training Center.
The Missionary Training Center, MTC.
MTC.
Yeah, I've heard that acronym. That's interesting. Jason, when you were a kid and you were attending church, were you ever like, I'm going to go on a mission?
No. This might surprise you.
You don't say.
No.
Did you grow up here in Safford, Jason?
Yeah.
Score.
So did you know, like, do you believe in the Mormon, like, do you believe in the Book of Mormon? Do you think it's not true? I mean, you're not going to hurt his feelings. He's a missionary.
I like the book. It's got some great stories.
But I'm saying, like, do you believe in like what the prophet says, like when Prophet Nelson, when he says President Nelson says something?
I believe it's a book. It's written by men, just like the Bible, just like anything else.
Okay.
So men can twist things and turn things how they want. But the Book of Mormon has really good stories in it. I mean, it's action packed. It is.
It's straight up.
I read it. It's pretty cool.
It's got great stories.
Yeah. So is this like your polite way of saying maybe, or no?
Well, it's a piece of history, probably. But it sounds pretty like what history would be like.
Do you not like the show South Park because of how much they rib Mormons?
I think it's
rip
funny.
Everybody.
It's not like we're the only ones getting tore up. They tear up everyone, man. My brother will watch South Park every day. Yeah. Like, he thinks it's hilarious.
Are you not a South Park fan?
I'm not for that. I just am not like gonna sit down. I'll watch South Park clips on like social media and stuff, and they always crack me up. But I don't think I've ever sat down and watched a full episode. South Park episode. Right. But it's funny. It's so funny.
I've always wondered, like, 'cause I'll be watching some episodes. Like they had the episode about Joseph Smith, and I was like, ooh, like even for me, I was like, oh man, this
right.
and it's not like I don't really, I'm not a super religious person.
Dumb.
Smart. They just went so far with it. I was like, dude, these guys are fucking envelope pushers, man. They go so far, and like, but them, and I think Family Guy to me takes things too far. I think
they actually do. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, but they do take things really far.
It's crazy how long that show's been on, dude. Family Guy's been on for a while now.
Yeah,
and they're always like, I don't get how shows like that.
I thought they were pretty politically correct.
Family Guy.
Jason's like, that's my stuff.
That's my religion, actually.
Every Sunday I sit and watch Family Guy. Me and the fam.
Go to Pretoria and join his nation.
Oh yeah, Pretoria, right? Yeah. I like how he says like he's gonna he starts his own little
nation in the U.S.
So all those shows though, even South Park, like those writers, they're they're creative.
Yeah,
like some of the stuff they talk about are pretty funny. But
and the other thing too is that it's not like, I mean, the people that I associate with in the church, and myself included, we're not like oblivious to how like sometimes strange it sounds.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that are blown out of proportion, and there are a lot of things, if it's explained clearly, you're like, oh, that makes a ton of sense.
Right.
And so I feel like sometimes they'll take something that's a little bit misunderstood and blow it out of proportion and be like,
yeah, I know exactly.
Dude,
right.
The Mormons think they'll have their own planets after they die.
That's something I've heard my whole life.
What the heck? No.
Is it? Do you guys believe that?
Well, here's the scripture. The scripture is, I mean, there are tons of scriptures that talk about how we are to become like God.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like our purpose is to go back and live with God. And what does God do? It's like God is helping us, and we are to become more like Him and to strive to be like Him. But if you're gonna like infer a little bit farther, it's like, well, if we're to become like God, God has He helps other people. He creates. Yeah. He has sons and daughters. And so the assumption is that could happen. That's a possibility.
Right.
Is it doctrine? Will you find that in Scripture? No.
Right.
So it wasn't like...
Because somebody somewhere in the Mormon church said, hey, look, this could be a possibility. Yep. Somebody took it like every single last one of them believe that they're going to be gods, and they will fight you to the death if you argue with them.
Yeah, it's not... What it really is, you won't ever hear me really call it Mormon. And that's like... I'll call it like... the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Latter-day Saint Church, or because it really, I do believe that it's Jesus Christ's church. So when He came to Earth, right, He like set up all of these like things. Like if you're gonna follow me, you get baptized.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do this, you have to have this authority to do so. This is how if you're gonna be like me, you have to like be a nice person. You have to be kind. You have to serve. You have to help. And he set up I feel like one of the most crucial parts is he gave his authority to perform miracles and to organize a church. He gave it to his 12 apostles, right? You hear about 12 apostles all the time. And then all of a sudden, the people got super wicked again after Jesus left, right? And they just, like, they killed the apostles. They killed them. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like you have a bunch of chickens running around with their heads cut off. It's like, well, what are we going to do? It's like, well, we got this book. But the book didn't pop up until about 300 years later, after Christ had died. And it was the writings that Paul and Peter and James and John had all written after, like 50 years after Christ had died.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, let's kind of focus on this when we hear. And so then you have a bunch of different religions that kind of pop up out of Catholicism, which is what popped up. And so it's like, okay, it's like this big old mess, right? It's like, which one's right? And so the whole idea is that God said, listen, I want you to be structured the way that I set it up when I sent my son. Right. And so I'm going to call a prophet like I did with Moses and Abraham and all of those guys. And so him and Jesus Christ come down and they say, like to Joseph, a 14-year-old boy, like, listen, you're going to be really instrumental in bringing the church back. And in the next like 5 or 6 years, you're going to be instructed and helped. You're not going to be perfect because he's a man, right? He's going to make some stupid mistakes, but he's going to be that crucial point to be able to make his organized religion again. Right. And so that's like the main point of it is God is called a prophet who is like the spokesman, and he will kind of direct us. He will kind of from the mouth of God. He won't speak for himself. His main saying is, "Thus saith the Lord," for example. Like, this is what God said. This is how we follow it. And I know that the prophet right now speaks with God and then speaks to us. Because, I don't know, man.
He's like the middleman.
He's the middleman. He's the messenger. So people will blow that out of proportion and be like, they're a cult. It's like, no, we're like...
Well, dude...
I mean, what do you call the Pope?
Yeah.
What does the Pope do?
All of them. Dude,
Speaks through the Lord, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's your belief, and I believe that they're right.
So...
You know, the thing about it, though, is anybody who comes down on anybody for believing anything is like, it's so disrespectful.
Totally.
Like, to be like... You believe that there's an invisible man in the sky? That's so stupid. Yeah, and but really believing anything it's nuts. Like not nuts. That's way worse.
You believe that a guy walked on water and healed the sick
any of them, Catholicism, Christianity, all of the religions of the world is based on faith, so that it takes a bit of craziness to believe it. Totally. So to believe it, and I think that faith and belief's sacred. I don't think it's anything that should be made fun of. I don't get it. I don't get the Mormon Church. But I mean, it's not like
aliens believe in God.
I think that's seriously something that blows my mind a lot. Like, okay, so if there's aliens, because there are, in my opinion, that I do believe in. So there's aliens, right? So what role do they play in like religion?
One thing I love about the Church of Jesus Christ is that there is pretty much an answer for everything.
Right.
So if you were to give me like 20 minutes of like research, I could find.
I know, man. It's so annoying. I know. I got so many so the Mormon. I learned. So there's a little story I want to tell you about National Conference.
Yeah.
So 2 seasons ago, when the Cardinals were doing really good for some reason, I don't fucking can't explain it. Yeah, it was a really odd time in our football history, but like we were just killing it, and we were playing. I was at work at the mine, and we were going to play. We were to play the Los Angeles Rams, and if we needed to beat them in order to keep our position at number 1 in our division. Anyhow, so I was like, okay, we kick off at noon. I'm going to go listen, get in my truck, and I'm going to go get up on my little perch. And I'm going to listen to the game, and then when it's down, to come back down. Well, it's 12:30 FM. So I was like, I don't know what, but anyhow, that's what airs the football game. So I go up there and I put it on, and I'm watching, I'm keeping an eye on the clock, and it's like, all right, man, any minute now, football's going to start, and then the national conference or the national general conference starts. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Like, I don't want to hear this. Like, what? And I was so fucking mad, dude. I was like, this is unfair. I was actually like on the verge of tears, like how unfair this was. Because
is that next weekend or this weekend?
It's this weekend.
It's this weekend.
Yeah. So, but I only know that.
Good memory.
It's on the air.
They actually talk about it on the radio.
Nice.
So I was like, well, you know what? I'm here. So I actually listened to it.
Really?
Yeah, I listened to National Conference, or what is it?
General
Conference. I was like, I actually took a lot from it. I was like, this is pretty cool. But and it was like a Filipino, because they have like guest speakers come in and everybody talks.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how what was weird is what's going on in my personal life at the time, which we're not going to share on the show, but is exactly what I needed to hear at that moment.
Isn't that crazy?
Why am I listening to this right now? But he was explaining that the church is kind of steering away from the term Mormon, and they're leaning more towards LDS. I did learn that. Here's the thing. It was very spiritually uplifting. And when it was over, or whenever I was done, because I was allotted this much time to, because I'd taken care of so much work. Anyways, I go back to meet up with everybody and learn, not only did the Cardinals win, but they fucking destroyed the Rams. Really? And it was like, yes, dude, like, yeah. And it was like blown. This is like when the Rams were supposed to win the whole thing. Like they were doing really well. And, I was just like, I just kept on watching replays over and over again. Like, dude, okay, I'm upset. I'm sad that I missed that game. But like, if that's, it was.
That's what I got to do is listen to the conference every
dude, if that's what it takes. But I will say this: I've never, and I don't ever really express my religious points of views ever. But I identify as Christian, and I never will pray for a game because I feel it's a little.
It's kind of silly.
Sacrilege.
Yeah, it's a little. Now I will say that like sometimes I've prayed for like the health of players and stuff, but I've never been like, Lord, let the Cardinals, or let the Diamondbacks or the Coyotes or whatever. True. I've never done that, but yeah. So, but what were we talking about? Oh, we're just talking about you're giving your general. So is that? I'm not saying that's a spiel because it's not. Yeah. But like, is that what you guys do when you talk to somebody? What you just said right now, is that like, hey, can we talk to you? And
that would be like if they were like, what do you guys even believe? I'd give them like a pretty rundown, like, okay, this is like the basic.
This is the watered down version.
Or what I would usually do is I'd ask them a question. I'd be like, hey, like, what it means the most to you in your life?
Yeah.
What helps you? What drives you? What gives you motivation to get up in the morning? And that's when like people I feel like are just yearning to talk about what makes them happy. Yeah. To, like talk about something more than just like superficial stuff. So they like you'd be standing on the side of the street and some guy would just like burst into tears and like tell you what meant most to him. And they'd be like, I'm really struggling with this. And then it was so like I genuinely know that it will help him. Like, man, I know I just met you, but whatever I've got in this book right here would help you.
Right.
I prompt like if you want, we could take 15 minutes of your evening tomorrow and just come by. And 10 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, like, please.
It's wild. I mean, on the ambulance, when I talk to people and I ask them, like, even when you get past just the basic medical questions, like, so what's going on? Like, how are you? You'd be really surprised at how desperate people are just to speak.
Right?
Just to talk. Like, and I'd be in the back of the ambulance with somebody who's just like, I mean, you would think we'd known each other 20 years, And
love
yeah, and then, my mom, and, and they'll, like, really, like, open up. I'm molested by her dad, and then we ended up over here, and my dad's a Vietnam War vet, and he, committed suicide. I'm like, wow, people just start opening up.
Not like the good days when people kept to themselves.
Jason's like, I hate
Bottle that shit up.
Just tough it out, man.
Well, so when I worked in Milwaukee, there was this chapter in my career where I was transporting people, and I don't know why it worked out this way, but I was transporting a lot of like terminally ill people from oftentimes it was from whatever center they were in back to their home to
just die.
To die, yeah. Wow. And I want to say this happened about 4 or 5 times, maybe more, but anyhow, oftentimes it would just be me in the back of the ambulance with this person. And some of them would confess immediately, like, this is the last conversation. Nobody's waiting for me at home. I've been such a bad person to so many people. It's been about money and they just open up to me like, this is the last conversation I'm having with another human. Yeah, it was it was crazy. Like some of these conversations were so intense. And I remember I was very honored. Honored would be the word to use to describe like how much I took it in. But I remember there was like a common denominator. Oh, okay. There was like a common denominator I did take from every single one of them, and they all regretted just not being nicer. Like, that was a common thing out here. Like, I wish I would have done this. I wish I wouldn't have chased money. Money was a big thing. Like, why did I care this much about money? Yeah. It's so unimportant now. And like, I loved that. But when you talked about, when you mentioned like, when you just simply ask somebody how they're doing, you'd be surprised at how willing people are just to open up and talk. Yeah. Just talk. It's crazy. Like, you don't even need to be an EMT or a missionary. Hell, Jason can go down to the bullpen right now and just start talking to somebody. He wouldn't do it, but if, you could get someone.
Of course he would.
Dude, but anybody would talk to this guy. Look at this guy, dude.
So
if this guy came up to you and said, hey, like, what's really bothering you? You'd be like, well,
Hey, I talk to people. Right?
Yeah. That was
work. About work.
But I think you'd make a good missionary. I think you'd make a good EMT. I think you just make a good person in general. But if you were to like talk to somebody, like people would open up to you pretty quick. You got that face. You got that demeanor. And your dick's always like sticking out of your shorts because you're.
So they can't help but to talk to him.
They can't help but.
It's like a tractor beam.
Like, oh yeah, dude, seriously, when they see that dick, they're like, "Oh my goodness, sir."
He's gonna try to.
Now, when we get out of here, you're gonna look. You're only gonna.
I'm just gonna look.
It's like a python. It just pull you in, dude. It's from the python from the Jungle Book. You know how? It's exactly what it does. To pull you in. You're all of a sudden.
I'm glad you're describing it as a python.
Like Jason be like, my eyes are up here, pervert. All right, so we've actually reached an hour and 30 minutes. Gavin, I can't say I cannot say enough. Thank you so much for coming on and talking. Yeah. I really, really enjoy having you on and talking about your faith and your religion. It means a lot to me. It does. And Jason's been pretty quiet. I'm assuming he's enjoying.
Just listening. Just listening.
Thank you so much, man. It means the world to us. I'd love to have you back. We can talk about stuff.
Dude, I would love that. I have a ton of stories, a ton of like crazy missionary stories.
Oh yeah. Okay, so next time. I know it's sometimes like people come. It's like the introduction, and then like we ended up just talking about UFOs and aliens or whatever. I don't know how that happens, but it happens a lot. But anyhow, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you want to say before we shut up? Is there anything you want to talk about, Jason? Is there anything you wanted to ask him?
Jason, I can save you, man.
Many have tried.
No, I'm thankful to be. I've been looking forward to this, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You got a good thing going here, and
thank you.
I love listening to your podcast, man.
Awesome.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you,
That's
Jason.
Great.
Anything you want to say?
No, that's great. Bringing in the LDS crowd.
Yeah, we got the Apache crowd. We got the LDS crowd. We need to get some.
We got Graham County locked up.
Yeah, dude. I will probably never get bigger than this, but that's all right. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys later.